Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tres Jolie channel. I am here with the August cards, tags, and more kit. I have actually already cut some things up because I started on my third project first. So you're gonna want to come back and make sure you check that out closer to the end of the month. Why I had to kind of get things rolling on that. So I'm just going to go over. There is the 6x6 paper pad from Paper Heaven in here. Lovely assortment of papers there. There were some extra cut apart sheets. Well, they're cut apart on one side, pattern paper on the other. Package of dragonfly charms. These two Tres Jolie chipboard pieces here. And these two Prima flower packs. So for my first project, since I try to keep my first project of the month kind of more focused on kit only and just pulling in staple items, I'm going to do some tags. I haven't quite worked out which. I'll use some of the flowers, I just don't know which ones yet. And I'll be doing some fussy cutting from here and using the papers and using these two chipboard pieces. But I'm going to kind of talk about tag options real quick. You can buy a variety of pre-made tags. This is a Julie Nutting tag pad. This one actually came in the February 2019 cards, tags, and more kit. You can see I have quite a few spaces in here where I've pulled some out. There's craft tags from Tim Holtz. This, well, Ranger, I guess these aren't necessarily Tim Holtz, but just some manila tags here from the February 2020 cards, tags, and more kit. And you can make your own tags. This, I'm pretty sure, was the backing of a paper pad. You can use just some regular corrugated cardboard, which actually works out very nicely for extra texture. If you just grab up, you know, something, that one's too little, maybe these, because you can kind of peel one layer off and get some texture in there from that corrugated, like so. And then you can just get yourself some chipboard. This is some medium weight chipboard that I have. Cereal boxes, old packaging, things like that. Making your own tag bases is rather simple. So I'm going to go with this chipboard. I think I might do, actually, maybe I'll do one corrugated and one chipboard. And I like this size. I used this as my size guide. So my tags are 3.5 by 8.5. I think this might be one of my favorite sizes of tags to work with. And so I'm going to actually kind of finish using this because I like the angles of these. And just going to grab up a pin, make my marks on here so that I can cut the corners there. Ooh, I should also mark where I'm going to want the hole. And this one I need to trim. But that's all there really is to it. So there's a couple of bases ready. And some white gesso for that. And even if you don't have gesso, you just have some acrylic paints, you could just paint straight on. I'm trying to think what else I'm thinking kind of as some very simple base products, staple products. And I think on these two chipboard pieces, I'm going to emboss them. Oops. If I don't make a horrible mess back here. I'm going to heat emboss, but I haven't picked up my colors yet. I don't know if I'll go metallic or some other color from the papers. Most likely, I'm just going to go in a simple gold powder there. So that's kind of where I'm at. I have some simple staple items here, just some gesso and embossing powder, some tags that are going to be handmade that I can work on. And I'm just going to go through now and find papers that I like for them. They're going to be layered because, as you can see, this is 6x6 paper. So I'll cut them down, layer them up, work on them that way. Let's see here. See? Kind of layer them up. And before I get too far ahead of myself, I am just going to prepare all of these cutout pieces. I think all of these. I'll cut out a lot of them. I should just say I'll cut out a lot of these cutout pieces so that they will be ready to use on my tags. I have my base items ready. I used just the end of a paintbrush to tear up some of the corrugated, just to give some showing here for some added texture. I put the gesso on both of my tags, and I have just put a single layer of gold embossing powder on the two chipboard pieces. Just used some clear embossing ink and some Ranger Gold embossing powder from my stash. And so I think that the gesso and the embossing powder and the ink are really only going to be the only stashed items. And I'm gonna and the chipboard and the corrugated cardboard bases are the only items that aren't from the kit. So now, I haven't cut all of the pieces out. I do have a few left. I'm hoping not to have to cut any more right now. It did take a while. So I'm just gonna start building up my tags here using some base papers. Don't know which ones yet, but some papers from the base. And I'm thinking most likely I'll be using this pack of Prima flowers. I'm not sure if I'll add any from this, and I haven't decided on the charms. Probably not the charms on this particular project. I'll kind of have to see how things go. So I'm just going to start arranging items, layering papers and layering those fussy cut pieces out, and try to build up and get something that I am happy with. Oh, I guess I should say the only other non-kit item will be glue. Another staple item, some glues. And that's it. So, just going to start building, seeing what kind of arrangement I can come up with and how I like what I come up with. Alright, I've been starting on a little bit of layout here. Nothing too heavy, but I decided I want to add some background color to the flower petals on these chipboard pieces. So I'm just going to use one of these sheets like this, and I'm going to turn it onto the back side or the front side. The side I'm not going to show. I guess I'll say that. So I can grab up a pencil and just trace around like so. Well, hopefully I'll be able to cut it. I'm apparently having trouble tracing today. Okay, there we go. And then when I go cut it here, I'm just going to make sure I cut inside that line I drew. So it will be covered by the chipboard. Makes sense? And actually, because I wasn't thinking and I should have turned that chipboard over, this is probably gonna go on this flower, because when I turn it over it won't match. I don't ink. See? Because I should have flipped this with it. Wasn't really thinking there. Good thing that this is going this way. So it can go kind of like so. Might have to trim it down. It did slide when I was trying to trace it. So I'm just going to grab some scissors and trim it like this. There we go. And so it'll go on like that. I'm just going to glue it real quick, and then I'll do the same thing for the other chipboard flower. Alright, and now I am going to resume putting my tag together. I have some foam pieces over here, but I also think, and this is actually something that has been very handy to me in the past, is I'm going to pull out my glue gun. It cools. I use a low heat glue gun so I don't burn myself. And I find it works really well because it cools off fast, and basically it's kind of like on demand pop dots, sort of like that, because then I can pile it up, and while it's still warm I can kind of shape the pieces of paper over it. So I'm going to get that warmed up. I'm going to kind of move some of these off over here. That was like that. Move some of these off over here. And now start kind of restacking them. You can see now with that backing on these that those flowers stand out just a bit more than they had before. It's just a little extra touch to get that chipboard flower to kind of pop off the page at you. Now all of my pieces are on, and I am just going to use my white gesso here and get it watered down, a little pile of it nice and watered down over there, I suppose. Don't even need that much. Just a little bit. And my water. And I'm just going to grab up a brush. There it is. And add some splatters. Okay, everything is dry. You can see those splatters on there. Get that one there to show. Well, this one, there it goes. There it's in focus. You can see those splatters. And, oh, these are little these are the little styrofoam balls that came loose from shipping or whatever off of these from the pack of Prima flowers, and they keep wanting to roll around on me. They're really light, so my ceiling fan is really making them go haywire. But I'm going to use them. See, I pulled, sorry that thunder distracted me. I wasn't expecting it. Anyhow, I just kind of pulled these apart like so to get off any one that had come loose during shipping. And I'm going to add these loose ones, and very much likely going to cut up one of these. Oh, this is driving me nuts. And I'm gonna use these loose ones and probably cut up. Just gonna cut them off like this, just so that they're in the smaller pieces, and either glue them down all together, or I might kind of pull them apart some more and use them loose. I'm gonna kind of see how it works out for me, and then just kind of stick them on in a few spots on my tags. My tags are complete. The only thing that would be left would be to put some kind of lace or twine through the holes. I hope that you enjoyed this little project and it gave you some ideas of what can be done with the items that are found in this month's Cards, Tags, and More kit. As you can see, you don't always have to use items as they come out of the package. It took me a long time to get comfortable with altering and cutting apart things, but eventually I did. So then you can just add a few extra details with a little stem, and there's still lots left here that can be used. I'm just going to actually kind of trim this down right now. There we go. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when more projects come up, and at the beginning of the month when the kit reveal comes through. And I will see you again next week.